Evening. I was just warming up. My name is Graham Nicholas. Very happy to be here tonight. I've heard a lot about these shows, so thank you to Greg and Mira for being such awesome hosts. The rumors are true. I'm coming all the way from downtown Canada. A lot of people don't like that joke, but I think it's pretty funny. One of mine, this one's called Mountain Flower. Oh, mountain flower, mountain rose, mountain flower, oh, how it grows. Seasons come, seasons go, but still you'll be my mountain rose. Where your rivers run, that river flows far below my mountain rose. And up above the moon does glow, way down upon my mountain. Mountain flower, mountain rose, mountain flower, oh, how it grows. Such sights unseen since long ago, but still you'll be my mountain rose. Where your colors shine, so I'm told. Shades of purple, crimson, and gold. Seasons come and seasons go, but still you'll be my mountain rose. That's like the hottest guitar playing I've got. I like to get it out of the way right at the beginning of the show. Sort of like, your first day in prison and you just scope out the biggest dude and take a swing. That way I'm not thinking about it the rest of my time here in the yard. I saw a couple of ne'er-do-wells over there that I thought that might resonate with, so that was weird. You grow weary, you grow cold, you get lonely all alone. What do you long for? Well, I long to know. Well, do you miss me, my mountain rose? Oh, mountain flower, mountain rose, mountain flower, oh, how it grows. Such sights unseen since long ago. The colors of my mountain rose, and still you'll be my mountain rose. We were talking about, Toronto and hometowns and stuff like that. And it's not as simple as that. I guess I used to live out east. I lived out in Nova Scotia for a couple of years. And I loved it. And when I was putting out this last record called Black Creek, I was living in Nova Scotia at the time, but I came home just to sort of remind everybody that I existed and just to play the old haunts. And this was kind of after everything started opening up again after COVID, so I was also just feeling nostalgic for all these old clubs and all these old bandmates that I used to play with, so I wanted to come back and sling the new album. And I was playing out in this town called Greenbank, Ontario, at the aptly named Greenbank Folk Club. And I had a really lovely night that night. I was opening for Russell DeCarl from Prairie Oyster, if anyone knows him. And it was a big sold out show, and I was like riding high, like I sold a bunch of CDs. And afterwards, I drove back into Toronto from there. And it's not very far, it's about an hour and a half north of the city. But like I said, I was living in Nova Scotia at the time. Anyway, we'll get into that. But I was driving back, and it was like a starless night. It was super clear, and there was no one on the highways, and I had a bunch of cash in my pocket. I was feeling good. And then I saw these flashing red and blue lights in my rearview mirror. I was like, I don't know what I possibly could have done. I didn't run through a stop sign or anything, and I'm not speeding, but like the good citizen I am, I pulled over. And it was so cold, I remember I couldn't roll down my window, so I had to open my door so I could speak with this police officer. So it was kind of like off to an awkward start. And she came up and she was like, I pulled you over because you only had one license plate, but then I saw you were from Nova Scotia. I don't know if you know this, but in Nova Scotia you only get one license plate. And so in my mind, I sort of realized that she had pulled me over for totally doing nothing wrong. I was not being investigated, or I had broken no infraction and no law. So I sort of just assumed that I could keep on driving and continue on with my night immediately. But she had all these follow-up questions. She's like, what are you doing? I was like, well, I'm driving to Toronto. She's like, okay, but you're from Nova Scotia? I was like, yeah, I guess. She's like, what are you doing up here? I was like, I was just visiting Greenbank. She's like, what brings you to Greenbank? I was like, are you working right now? Are you on break? Are you just looking for someone to talk to? And I was like, well, I was at the Greenbank Folk Club. She's like, I didn't know we had a folk club here in Greenbank. I was like, cool. Can I go now? But honestly, I don't know how she missed it. There's two buildings in that town. There's the sushi place and the folk club, so I don't know where she was looking, but it was there the whole time. And she's like, what brought you to the folk club? And I sort of cracked under the pressure like I was being interrogated. I was like, look, man, I'm just a humble folk singer. I'm just selling my wares and singing songs. She goes, I love folk music. I was like, okay. I was trying to figure out where this was going, I was like briefly considered the possibility that she was trying to flirt with me or something, but I decided not to pursue this line of logic because I was too intimidated by her firearm, and I was like, I don't date women that carry guns all the time. So I was trying to figure out what else this could possibly be about. And I just looked up at her and I was like, do you want to buy an album? And I think I'm the first person that's ever been pulled over by a police officer, and at the end of that transaction, I was the one that got money from them. It was a big day. It was a big day. So quit your day job, write your folk songs, and you too can take money from police officers. Seen a smile break at the speed of light, cracked head at sight. I seen one flow like an autumn leaf, just carried off by some wayward breeze. and forth, making me cross-eyed. An old match for kept in the pocket of my winter coat. I just know love know that someplace that I never looked. There ain't no rest, the weary kind, the broken heart left behind. There ain't no way to say goodbye. Back and forth, making me cross-eyed. So somewhere out there, there's a bored cop just pumping that record, cruising around Green Bank. I'm gonna try out this kids number I wrote. Any kids in the audience tonight?
Woo! Yeah, right.
And I would love to tell you that I wrote this children's song because I've recently become a proud uncle to two beautiful kids. My sister has had a daughter and a son in the last 3 years, and so I would love to tell you that I was inspired to write this song for them and give it to them as a gift that they could always have and something that they could always point to and say, Uncle Gray wrote that song just for us, you know? I would love to have given them this gift, but the truth is, I wrote this song because I heard that song Baby Shark and I was like, shit, I could do that. There's like 3 words in that whole song and it made millions of dollars. So I thought I would take a swing and some of that Raffi money and see if I can get in on the kids market. So I was trying to think of like a kid song I could write, and I thought about the dish that ran away with the spoon. You know, they fell madly in love and absconded away together. And I thought, you know, why don't we catch up with them and see how they're doing? And I'll let you all know how their love life is in the form of this whimsical folk song. Did you hear about that dish that ran away with the spoon? They ran right off and got married, shotgun honeymoon. They got a white picket fence and a big swimming pool, and 3 beautiful children in all best schools. But then the spoon got hungry and went looking for a bite, and found a bowl full of loving on a Saturday night. He left his wife and his kids back home all alone. Dish and the spoon, they don't talk anymore. It was my first kid song. As you can tell, it hasn't really taken off the way that Baby Shark has. But when I was listening to Baby Shark, I was like, you know what this song is missing? The cold, hard facts of life. I would give it to these kids straight up, no sugar. Hey diddle diddle, with that old nursery rhyme. Human hearts can be fickle most all of the time. But look, there's other characters in that nursery rhyme, so maybe things worked out a little better for them. But did you hear about that cow that jumped over the moon? She looks down from the stars just to watch the world turn. She's got a nice patch for grazing on the astral plane. She sits on the banks of that old Milky Way. Oh, in Cassiopeia, she sits up on her throne, with only the stars to gaze upon, while the Big Dipper's cup head overflows with the water that falls like rain down below. And I hate diddle diddle went that old nursery rhyme. Hearts can be fickle most all of the time. And the cat sang her songs on the bow fiddle. Well, old love songs for lost time. And the days wore on little by little. Well, good love's the love that's worth more than one try. Yeah, good love's the love worth more than one try. So, I know things are kind of financially getting tougher and tougher out there. And everyone's talking about the price of living and the cost and expenses that it takes just to get from month to month.
Yes, but still donate.
But still donate. We'll get to that. Put a pin in that. But still donate. I don't let the bright lights and the big stage down here at the Music Ranch fool you. Times are tough out there for folk singers too, so yes, please donate. But I think everyone's looking at this economy the wrong way, you know? They're looking at it like it's a glass half empty, and they're not seeing all the romantic possibilities, because this is really a lover's economy, if there ever was one. People are now moving in together, surely for the financial reasons, and becoming closer because of it, and sharing smaller and smaller places and becoming more intimate. I think that's really beautiful, you know. Nowadays, when I meet a potential object of affection, someone that I would like to woo and seduce, I don't have any cool lines like I used to. I just get right down to brass tacks and start talking numbers. I'm like, look, girl. I have a 2-bedroom apartment in downtown Toronto for $1,500. And if things go well between you and I, and you decide to move in, we could cut that rent right in half. Or we could just be paying $750 each, which sounds pretty sweet. And then maybe we could rent out that second room, and they could pay $750, and we'll split $375 each. And we'd be saving like crazy. And since it's Toronto, you know, maybe we could put a curtain around the couch we have in the living room, and we could put that up on Facebook Marketplace for like $500 a month. Someone will pay it. And then I can't even calculate the savings that we'll be putting away each month. So I sort of, wrote this song as my sales pitch, I guess. And when I was writing it, and the more I've been playing it around, I've sort of realized that affordable rent is like the hottest sexual fantasy for millennials. And I'm getting a lot of responses. I'm seeing a lot of sweaty collars out there being like, 1,500, that's pretty good. Where does he live? Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I work so hard just to make ends meet. Why they have to put that brass ring out of reach? And that landlord's always wanting more. He's trying to rent evict me right out my door. Well, how can one man stand such times as these? And hey, babe, I see that you feel it too. The financial strings of penny pinching blues. How about you come and take me by the hand, and you won't have to pay full price again. 'Cause we'll share the load and groceries too. So let's split the rent, baby, you and me. On half-priced internet, oh, it could be so cheap. When I cut your bills in two, well, that's how you know that I love you. Well, let's split the rent and utilities. You can't put a price on true love, they say. But have you seen the price of gas going up these days? Well, it sure puts me in the mood for going Dutch on a one-bedroom. Well, true love's hard work, it might as well pay. So let's split the rent, baby, you and me. On half-priced internet, oh, it could be so cheap. When I cut your bills in two, that's how you know that I love you. Let's split the rent and utilities. My theory is that this is why polyamory is on the rise. I just sort of think everyone is willing to sacrifice and forego all their personal boundaries for the sake of, splitting the rent a couple ways. Yeah, I'll join your throuple if it's $500 a month, that's fine. Baby, do the math, it just makes sense. And those cents will turn to dollars once again. And you won't have to feel so down and out when we open our joint bank account. 'Cause more time with you is all I'd like to spend. So let's split the rent, baby, you and me. On half-priced internet, oh, it could be so cheap. When I cut your bills in two, that's how you know that I love you. Let's split the rent and utilities. Let's split the rent, baby, you and me. And it's this great, lovely old bar, and it's a very long bar, so, you know, people like to sort of perch up in front of me and sit and chat with each other, and I sort of bounce between conversations a lot, which is pretty fun. But I would say, you know, a couple months ago, a lot of conversations were about what was going on south of the border when, you know, Trump was making all these stupid threats to annex Canada or take Canada back or something. Some sort of 51st state nonsense, and it sort of felt like I was working in a bar in Paris in like 1938. And all the conversations were like, he will never march on our land. And then sure enough, 2 years later, there was a war. So there was all this conversation about that, and you know, it really pissed me off, to be honest. Let's Split the Rent is usually about as political as I get, but I gotta tell you, I was pretty mad. So I wrote this song, and hopefully if I cross the border, they won't find it on my phone and put me in some ICE detention center or something. Outside the wolves were hungry, now they're pounding on the door. So long they were prowling, now they're howling out for more. The walls are closing in, but there's one night left to the shore. There's not a drink so sweet like the drink before the war. Tonight the band will play songs of glory and great deeds, songs of peaceful times and happy memories. I'll take you by the hand and spin you across the floor. We'll share in one last dance and have a drink before the war. Inside the wolves were hungry, now they're pounding on the door. For so long they were prowling, now they're howling out for more. The walls are closing in, but there's one night left to be sure. There's not a drink so sweet like the drink before the war. Oh, we have maybe lost her one again. We may not get to say goodbye to friends. So before the levees break, before the coming storm, share one last drink and have a drink before the war. Well, the skies up high are blue, far above our reach. The birds of flight they climb and carry olives in their beaks. Before the sky should fall and shatter across the floor, we'll speak of birds so free and have a drink before the war. Inside the wolves were hungry, now they're pounding on the door. For so long they were prowling, now they're howling out for more. The walls are closing in, but there's one night left to be sure. There's not a drink so sweet like the drink before the war. And oh, we have maybe lost her one again. We may not get to say goodbye to friends. So before the levees break, before the coming storm, we'll raise our glass and drink to the drink before the war. Well, there's a flower that grows tall, it's a far and distant glen. The living man can look upon its blooming buds again. It's but a distant memory we cherish from before, like the sweet taste that still lingers from the drink before the war. Inside the wolves were hungry, now they're pounding on the door. So long they were prowling, now they're howling out for more. The walls are closing in, but there's one night left to be sure. There's not a drink so sweet like a drink before the war. Oh, we have maybe lost her one again. We may not get to say goodbye to friends. So before the levees break, you're at this show, you're cool. I was recently in a room full of Americans and I didn't make any friends. But, they were lucky I was drinking because sobriety loosens my tongue. All right, I read this book last summer. Let's talk about fun books. I read this great book called Blue Highways. And it's this really beautiful travelogue that this guy wrote in the 70s about driving in the United States and in his camper van. But he gave himself 2 rules. And the first rule was no highways. And the second rule was no cities. So he just drove around all these like small kind of towns that you'd never heard of and along all these back roads. It was really beautiful. It's a great read. But there's this one part in it where he's talking about, maybe he's been staying out and away from home for too long and staying in these rundown motels one too many nights, which, musicians can relate to. And he has this really great line where he says, motels can be big, but they can never be grand. And that just sort of set fireworks off in my brain, and I called people up. I was like, you gotta hear this line, this is beautiful. Anyway, I just sort of plucked it like an albacore tuna out from the ocean from which it was swimming and thought I would take it for my own. And I wrote this song, Motels Can Be Big, but They Can Never Be Grand. Like a castle that's built from marble or sand, all beautiful things must return to this land. And I told you once, babe, make me sing it again. Motels can be big, but they can never be grand. And in the side dresser drawer where the Keelaghan lays the leather-bound leftover from church-going days. By the dim lamplight, a poor man he prays, a penthouse room service, nice cold champagne. What the meek shall inherit, they never, I'd say, an uncomfortable mattress, minimum wage. Till judgment day comes here, I'll patiently wait with 3-channel cable and a bill I can't pay. And like a castle that's built from marble or sand, all beautiful things must return to this land. And I told you once, babe, make me sing it again. Motels can be big, but they can never be grand. They got rates by the daily, weekly, monthly too. No matter how long you might stay, we're all just passing through. And it might got 4 walls, forever may stay. Motels can be big, but they can never be grand. Well, the ice machine's broke, but it's just down the hall. Got no friends here in town, there's no long distance calls. The maid turns down my bed, but I don't see her at all. My ashtray is empty, my small change is gone. Despite the do not disturb sign that hangs on my Nog Creek beds, can be heard knocking against my wall. said to Adam, after the fall, go eat and grow in these soils of mine. Like a castle that's built from marble or sand, all beautiful things must return to this land. And I told you once, babe, make me sing it again. Hotels can be big, but they can never be grand. Motels can be big, but they can never be grand. I saw the tip jug making its way around the audience, and you know, musicians' ears are very delicate. And so when the tip jug is going around, this is a PSA, this is a public service announcement here. When the tip jug is going around, make sure you don't put that harsh, jangly change in there, because the tinny clang and the can really hurt my delicate musician ears, thus compromising my hearing and the quality of the show for me and you. And so we want that nice, soft, pillowy, soundless cash. And if you guys don't have cash, that's okay. We do take debit and credit. Just make sure to write down your PIN number before you put your debit or credit card in the tip jar. It's very appreciated. It's a crucial step. But in all seriousness, you know, it's there's this place, I don't know if you know this, but it's not owned by Ticketmaster, and it's not owned by Live Nation. So all the money that goes into the jug goes to the musicians tonight, and it's a really important way to keep local music alive and to keep people coming back, because I heard about this place because everyone raves about it. So it's really nice to know that there's a supportive community, and so thank you very much.
Woo!
Yeah.
And
Word gets around quickly, you know. So.
And it's only as amazing as it is because you all come.
Because you all come.
Yeah.
It's true. I'll be gone. I'm gonna make it up to you, baby, before too long. Did I lose touch? Did I just go through shadows fall, knocking your door? Truly, truly, do you truly love me, darling? Do you know? I'm going to do one more quick one this set, and then we're going to take a little smoke and drink break. Due to popular demand, everyone loves a good smoke and drink break. So this one will be a quick one. But like all the other ones, my spiel won't be. I wrote this one sort of in the thick of it. And by it, I mean the pandemic. And we don't all necessarily want to talk about it, and I understand that. But one thing I do have to say is, when I was writing this song and thinking about things, I was trying to think about what I will have learned on the other side of this experience, which hopefully never happens again. And the thing I learned was that if you are forced to stay inside and you are no longer an agent of action and change and activity in your community and in the external world, nothing good will make itself known to you. No good opportunity will force itself into your life and knock in your front door and force itself into your living room. But bad things are sort of inevitable. You know, when I was sitting on my couch and doing nothing, like all of you, bad things I noticed kept happening. And so what I took from that is that good things take work, and I sort of promised myself that when things opened up again that I would put in the effort to be a part of it all. And this is a great example tonight, you know. And Mira put on a really great show here, and you guys all had to put in work to come out tonight, and some of you put up chairs, and Mira made a really beautiful soup, and I drove here, and so we all put in the work that it took to make this event come together tonight, and I think we all benefited from it. So thank you all for putting in the work and for making a good thing happen and come together. It's really beautiful. Now enough about the sappy shit. I do have CDs for sale. So if you've been enjoying the music you've been listening to here this evening, thanks to the gift of outmoded technology, you can take this CD with you home forever and ever in the form of a compact disc. And for years and years, you can put that little disc in a CD tray and it'll instantly transport you back to Orangetown, Quebec. September 25th. It'll be this bond we'll share forever and ever, you know? You'll always have my CD to remember me by, and I'll always have your money to remember you by. I'm just sappy like that. What can I say? So it's not always the best seat in the house, but it's always my favorite seat. The merch table is the best place to be, and I'll see you back there. And this song is called Getting By With Less. Well, now I'm getting by with less, running out the clock, trying to catch my breath, and I'm letting go, trying to forget these days. I get by with less. Well, I'm just another dark horseback, not the longest shot that you ever met. Underneath the dark and cloud way, heavy with regret, but these days I get by with less. Take an inch, try to make it a mile, find true love. pay the rent with another bounce check. I'm trying to believe things will get better yet, but these days I'll get by with less.
Hello everyone. How's everybody doing tonight? So far, some amazing music, I have to say. So the poem I'm going to read tonight I kind of just thought about it. I didn't really have anything in mind when I got here tonight, but all the talk in Nova Scotia, I did write a poem about that in my first book, and it's basically just based about somebody I fell in love with when I was younger, really like in kind of like my childhood, and she ended up moving away to Nova Scotia, and I hadn't talked to her for like 20 years, and this was like last summer, and then we got in touch with each other and kind of started talking again, and I was like, wow, it's been so long we haven't talked or seen each other, and then we kind of came up with a plan to, I guess, me flying out to see her, and then she ended up booking tickets to come down and see me. Yeah. So I thought like, wow, this is amazing, we get to reconnect, and then she left again. So it was just a kind of a trip for her to come down. It was just really nice to kind of like not rekindle things, but see her again. So I just kind of wrote something about that. So this one's titled 20 Years Later. Piercing eyes as blue as the magnificent East Atlantic waters. Coastal she resides among the ocean playground, embracing her environment as the salt kisses her skin. The scenery stands no chance as beauty is found wherever she is. Gentle, caring, and sweet, with a voice that could calm an army. The pull to be closer to her, an ever-present feeling. A distant voyage shall be made to the edge of the continent. I do not ponder why she disappeared, just happy she found her way back. For there is something special about that girl.
Gordon Lightfoot song. Well, it got me my mail late last night. A letter from a girl who found the time to write to a lonesome boy somewhere in the night. She gave me a railroad ticket to take me to her loving arms, and the big steel rail gonna carry me home to the one I love. Well, I've been out here many long days, still haven't found a place to call my own. Not a two-bed bed to lay my body on. I've been stood up, I've been shook down, I've been dragged through the sand, and the big steel rail gonna carry me home to the one spend up time most every night walking around the streets of this old town. Not a friend around to tell my troubles to. My good old car, she done broke down 'cause I drove it into the ground. And the big steel rail gonna carry me home to the one I love. And I look out yonder across the plains, big steel rail just a pounding along the ground. Gonna get on board and I'll be homeward bound. I ain't had a home cooked meal in a Lord to need one now. And the big steel rail gonna carry me home to the one I love. Now here I am with my head in my hands, standing on this long highway. Won't you give a ride to a lonesome boy who missed his train last night? Went in town for one last round and I'll give my ticket away. And the big steel rail won't carry me home to the one I love. Thank you. Welcome back to set 2 here. Yeah, I made the drive in today from Picton, and there's a lot of driving that comes with this life, and there's one, I'm lucky in the sense that I don't have a lot of bad habits when I play a long string of shows or anything. I don't drink too much, and I don't do drugs or anything like that. I sound really fun, but there's like one sure sign that I spend too much time behind the wheel by myself. And I know I've been driving for too long when I start getting that hankering for beef jerky. I don't really eat beef jerky any other time except when I've been driving a lot. And as far as bad habits go, I guess that's not such a bad one, but something about the tar-like texture and the salt flavor keeps me wired and focused, And I remember one year I was driving out west. I was in Northern Ontario. I was passing through Wawa. Yeah, Wawa. And I stopped at the little gas station there. And going in to get my fix, and I walked up and he had this little tub up there of beef jerky and a little sign that said, one stick for $1.25. And in hindsight, that seems totally reasonable. But at the time, I made a really big stink out of it. And I walked right up there and I was like, sir, these prices are outrageous. This was also probably like 12 years ago when everything was cheaper. I was like, these prices are outrageous. This is highway robbery. I refuse to patronize this establishment ever again. I'm going to go up and down this Trans-Canada highway selling your good name, telling every touring musician not to stop for beef jerky at the Wawa gas station. Apparently when I'm by myself for a really long time in the car, I get real ornery and not super pleasant to be around. And he was very patient, to his credit. He looked me up and down and he's like, son, I can tell you're going through some hard times. It's probably been a while since you've been home. He's like, I'll tell you what, you don't like my prices of 1 for $1.25? How about 4 for $5? And I said, deal. That's why you stay in school and focus, because you use math every day. My girlfriend's kids are like complaining about, why do I have to learn math? I'm like, because one day you're going to be at that goddamn gas station in Wawa. He got the upper hand, obviously, and I was too far down the road before I realized what had happened, before I figured out how to carry that one or move that decimal point or whatever you're supposed to do. But, this is an old one. This record, I guess, is about to turn 11 years old. And I only have a couple copies left of it. So this song's called Sometimes Chicken, Sometimes Feathers. Sometimes you get chicken, sometimes you get feathers. Sometimes good times, they ought to be a lot better. That ain't what you got, and the hand you've been dealt. And that heartache you're feeling, well, that's love you once felt. Now Benny's got a band, and don't you know, he plays Friday nights down at the watering hole. And that must be where my money does go and my bills come. Well, I ain't got no more. I'll sing a song for you and a song for me. Play songs for money, but he writes them for free. We go out each week and we dance some too, because Benny's got songs that leaves you blues. Sometimes you get chicken, sometimes you get feathers. Sometimes good times, they ought to be a lot better. But that ain't what you got, and you've been dealt. That shame that you're feeling, well, that's pride you once felt. You make me starry-eyed, like a night in July. Make me weak in my knees. You give birds to my bees. But honey ain't cheap, and money ain't time. And that heart you've been stealing, well, I think it's been mine. So leave the porch light on, shoes unlocked and door, 'cause I know you didn't need all them mean things before. 'Cause true love takes a lot, and with me it takes more. All this fussing and this fighting, what good is it for? Can't you hear those words coming up from the hall? Sometimes sweet nothings ain't whispered at all. Can't you hear my heart beating way across the room? It's been ticking and it's talking, well, all night just to you. Sometimes you get chicken, sometimes you get feathers. Sometimes good times, they ought to be a lot better.
It was actually a pretty eventful day at that gas station. I remember pulling in, and as I was driving down the highway and the gas station was coming closer and closer into view, I saw this big motorcycle gang congregating outside, and I was like, maybe I should just go to the next one. I don't want any trouble with these motorbikers. Then I saw the patches on the back of their leather jackets, and it said, "Bikers for Christ." And I was like, I could probably take these guys, So I fearlessly pulled into the parking lot and started mingling with the Bikers for Christ, and there was an outhouse in the back, and so I got in line, and I got to the front, and it was finally my turn, and then the door busted open, and there was this huge Biker for Christ, and he had like the sleeveless leather vest, and he had chaps, and he had big sunglasses on, huge white beard, 3 feet taller than me, barrel chest, tattoos, big patch on the back. And he looked at me and he said, "Son, if you mention my name at the door, you'll get a good seat inside." So feel free to use that at any outhouse that you happen to be in line for. I noticed there was no outhouse tonight. Okay, on to the next one here. The always quotable Keith Richards once said, "I don't have a drug problem, I have a police problem." And I thought that was very clever, and I couldn't believe he didn't put it into a song, so I just took it and thought I would put it into a song. I kind of tweaked it a bit, and this song is called "Drinking Problems," or rather, I don't have a drinking problem, just a problem with the bill. And it's a country song, and you can tell that it's a country song because it starts like this. Well, I drink to the good times, and I drink to the bad. Well, I've raised a glass to every single time that I ever had. And they say you can't find happiness at the bottom of your glass. So I fill mine right up to the top just to make those good times last. Now say about me what you will, 'cause I've been drinking, I'm drinking still. I don't have a drinking problem, just a problem with the bill. Well, the day after the night before, oh well, it always burns too bright. Oh, and all those things left in the dark have been pulled into the light. I lie alone, awake in bed, and try hard not to think how the daylight, it won't burn so bright when I pass right out from drink. Now say about me what you will, 'cause I've been drinking, I'm drinking still. I don't have a drinking problem, just a problem with the bill. Okay, this is one I'm going to play for old time's sake here. I used to date a woman that had a Westphalia camper van. Does anyone know the Westphalia camper vans? They are beautiful. VW, you know, you can pop the top and sleep out under the stars. And I know Fiona remembers this van. I've known Fiona over there a very long time, very surprised to see her tonight. And they're beautiful, but they are super impractical to own in the city, turns out. Trying to maintain one in downtown Toronto is silly. And they're super expensive to keep on the road. And the romance of owning such a vehicle goes right out the window as soon as you get one of these maintenance bills. And I remember one such bill came in, and it was like $6,000 to replace the whole engine. And I didn't have $6,000, and she didn't have $6,000. Between the two of us, couldn't figure it out. Couldn't scrape a couple pennies together to get a little spark going. And so the way we just dealt with this problem is we just left it parked on the street for like 6 months, all through the winter. And we're like, let's just turn the key in the spring and see if it works. It's sort of like when your internet isn't working and you unplug it for 10 seconds. You're like, maybe I'll get internet if I just unplug this modem and plug it back in. And so we just left it there through the winter. And I know it's not like this here, but parking in Toronto is like a full contact sport. And people take it very seriously. And so we started getting increasingly threatening letters left under the windshield wiper of this car, being like, move your goddamn car, like I want to park here. And they became very specific. They were like, I know you have red hair, and I know you're in that building down there. I've seen you come in and out. I was like, oh my God. So I sat down with my partner at the time, and I had this heart-to-heart with her, and I was like, look, I love the van. I know you love the van. But I also love living here, and I don't want to start a riot on our block over this problem spot. And she was really trying to grasp at any straw that she could to keep this Westphalia, because she looked at me with dead seriousness, and she was like, but Graham, if we sell that car, we're going to lose that parking space. I was like, yeah, I guess that's true. That's what living in the city will do to you guys, you know, you don't understand. Something like a parking spot can seem like everything. And so we eventually sold the car for parts, and I wrote her this little song to break her broken van heart, or sorry, to ease her broken van heart. And she still has the song, and she doesn't have the van. I don't know what she would prefer, but I still like this number. It's called 1 Gallon Ago. Well, my car's been broken down. It's downright busted. Instead of driving it round, it sits idle and it gets rusted. My starter, it don't start, and my engine, it don't hinge. And it's a Saturday night, and I'm stuck at home again. And objects in my mirror are much further than they appear. So when I see you in my rear view, well, I'll know that you're not near. 19 miles to the galley, 20 miles to your door. That's just a 1 gallon to go, and a little bit more. Love letters and phone calls come from so things you say. Said you'd call me every day. Said I'd write you every week. But it takes so long to think of what to say. There's been no time to speak. And objects in my mirror are much further than 8 years. So when I see you in my rear view, well, I know that you're not near. 19 miles to the galley, 20 miles to your door. That's just a 1 gallon to go, and a little bit more. Rickety wheels, they wobble and they shake like the way our love feels. There's some give, there's some take. Rickety wheels, they wobble and they shake like the way our love feels. There's some give, there's some take. This song predates the car, predates having a car. Back when I used to take the Greyhound to all the gigs. Remember the Greyhound? R.I.P. the Greyhound. And who remembers the Greyhound bus station in Toronto? Anyone? Yeah, we got If you are not familiar with the Greyhound bus station that was in Toronto, let me tell you, it was a singular work of architecture. It was somehow the worst of both inside and outside. I don't know how they figured it out. But the way it was set up was that it was like this concrete kind of dome, and you would stand at the back of the dome, and the buses would back their asses into the dome, thus just pushing and billowing exhaust right into this area that had just collected and trapped all the people waiting for the bus. So you were just inhaling these toxic, disgusting fumes, and they would have nowhere to ventilate out to. And the only place it could go was deep into your own lungs. It was beautiful. I don't know how they did it. And I was standing in line to get on the bus one day. I think I was going to Guelph or something. And there was this lovely young couple in front of me in line. And I could tell that they were a couple because they were making out like the plane was about to hit the side of the mountain. And they just had precious seconds left. And when I first saw this display in front of me, I thought, that's just not sanitary in a place like this. And then I thought, Graham, don't be so cynical. You know, this is true love playing out before your very eyes. One of them is about to get on that bus and say goodbye to their beloved for an extended period of time. And they're just squeezing in every last moment of intimacy that they can. Emphasis on the squeezing, because it was, like I said, quite graphic. And, you know, absence makes the heart grow fonder and all of that. But then they just both got on the bus. And they proceeded to make out for the entire 2-hour bus drive. So they have very fond memories of the Greyhound, and they had a lovely trip. And the rest of us were all just trying to figure out ways to occupy our attention so that we weren't watching them go at it furiously. And I happened to have my little notebook, so I wrote them this song. And I hope they're still out there just necking in public and inspiring young folk singers to just get down to writing a song. Wherever they may be.
Picture the sea, so deep and wide, two lovers stand on opposite sides. How can a space so big seem to fit right here between me and you? Between hope and fear, and I don't want to hear you say that it's just like love, 'cause nothing compares or comes close enough. No, not one thing in this whole wide world is quite like my love for you, my Picture a car driving through the night amidst all that dark. There's one beam of light, and from where it starts, it's plain to see. There's no end in sight, just mystery. And I don't want to hear you say that it's just like love, 'cause nothing compares, it comes close enough. No, not one thing in this whole wide world is quite like my love for you, my girl.
I think I'm really underselling the truly romantic ambiance that was at the Greyhound's bus station. I'm not really giving it enough credit because my parents met and fell in love at that disgusting Greyhound bus station. So I owe it everything. I'm going to do another cover. This is a song written by Dustin Bentall and Ridley Bent from Alberta, and they wrote this great song called 9 Inch Nails. I don't know, has anyone heard this song? It's really bad. It's about this couple that they have opposite music tastes, and in the course of the breakup they mix up their records and mayhem ensues. And it's brilliantly written. I love this song. And if you're like a music nerd, there's tons of great little references and jokes in here. Well, I met her in a record shop. She was in hard rock, had a wild affair, and she moved in and the rent was shared. There's a theme. We'd stay up all night, listening to music by candlelight. And if it wasn't for the music, I never would have fallen in love. Well, the breakup was a rough one, and she pulled out a shotgun, and I talked her down and we worked it out. She got it all and the matching couch, but I still got my records. But now I need a sad song. Wouldn't you know it, the jackets are on, and all the sad ones are gone. She got my tool collection. I got a tool collection. She got my working man's blues, and she got my Tom T. Hall. I got her Husker Du. Yeah, we got them all mixed up while we were high on rails. She's got my 9-pound hammer. I got her 9-inch nails. She won't return my phone calls. I'm running low on alcohol. I head on down to that LCD. I pick on up some Canadian whiskey. I throw on Black Hole Sun. I always kind of liked that one. If it wasn't for the music, I never would have fallen in love. I got her tool collection. She got my working man's blues, and she got my Tom T. Hall. I got her Husker Du. Yeah, we got them all mixed up while we were high on rails. She's got my 9-pound hammer. I got her 9-inch nails. Well, she moved to Montreal eventually. Well, don't they all? She's in a band that covers Wolf Mother, and I hear they call themselves Wolf Lover. And I'm listening to Hell's Bells, wishing it was Bob Wells. If it wasn't for the music, I never would have fallen in love. I got her tool collection. She got my hot rod Lincoln, and my heart won't stop sinking. And I need some songs for drinking. And now I'm on a crazy train, and I'm going off the rails. She's got my 9-pound hammer. I got her 9-inch nails. I got a tool collection. She got my working man's blues, and she got my Tom T. Hall. I got her Husker Du. Yeah, we got them all mixed up while we
that I'll be coming home. Send word down to my darling, she don't have to be alone. I've been all around, up and down, no place made me forget that the sight of you on Black Creek, it's the sweetest I've seen yet. Black Creek will be away so many nights before her night. She's a sight to see. By the time the sun goes down, we'll be dancing cheek to cheek underneath the shining stars at the bottom of Black Creek. Light a candle in the window, keep it burning all night through, like the fire that's been burning in my heart from me to you. At Black Creek it sure runs long, like my heart sure beats true. And ever since that I've been gone, every tear I shed is blue. Send word on down to Black Creek that I'll be coming home. Send word down to my darling, she don't have to be alone. By the time the sun goes down, we'll be dancing cheek to cheek underneath the shining stars at the bottom of Black Creek. Black Creek will be away so many nights before her night. She's a sight to see. By the time the sun goes down, we'll be dancing cheek to cheek underneath shining stars at the bottom of Black Creek. Underneath the shining stars at the bottom of Black Creek.
Alright, guys. I've had a wonderful evening. Thank you so much to Mira and Greg. And this is an awesome venue, and you guys have done a great job. And like I said earlier, so much work goes into these things. And yeah, like I said, we all put work in to make such an awesome little community like this come together, and it's just so nice to just pop in and experience a bit like a fly on the wall and just see what goes on around here. And it's really inspiring and super awesome. So thank you so much for having me tonight. It's been really lovely. And thank you guys for coming out. And yeah, what a lovely stop this was. Yeah, it's just really humbling. I don't know, you just like roll up and you don't know what you're kind of walking into, and it turns out to be awesome. So that's always a nice feeling. And yeah, I've got some CDs for sale, and I was playing with this guy last night, and he was very good. Donnie Tate was his name. He fronts this band in Kingston called Kojak. I don't know if I've heard of Kojak. They're pretty sick. They're a good band. Anyway, he was just kind of self-deprecating about selling CDs, and he called them, he was like, they make good coasters. And I like had to scold him afterwards, and I was like, look, man, I was like, we put a lot of work into these, and you shouldn't be embarrassed to like admit that, and that like you poured a lot of effort into like the thing that you're selling. And I know it's like kind of like a self-defense mechanism to be self-deprecating, but I think it's really important to advocate for physical media and like art objects taking a greater role in our lives. Like streaming sucks is the long end of this rant, but you know, I've rethought this philosophy a couple times because I've moved like 3 times in the last 5 years, and every time I move, I rethink my record and my book and my tape collection. But then I get settled and I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I have all these records and all these books. Yeah, so it would mean a lot if you guys met me back there, and I can't wait to come back and play here again. Okay, this song's called Dark Horses. Did you hear about the news, the bad times and the blues? Johnny, he just found out that he's got nothing left to lose. How will he heard it on TV, from the radio MCs? Those dark horses run, but they can't catch me. Tall tales they fall, so many pieces on the floor you can't count them all. One day you'll say broken pieces don't fit together quite so easily. Was a red cocktail dress, was the one that she liked best. When she sang down at the nightclubs, the pool halls, the cabarets. But in her closet, now you'll see that dress hanging next to her dreams. And those dark horses run, but they can't catch me. Tall tales they fall, so many pieces on the floor you can't count them all. One day you'll say broken pieces don't fit together quite so easily. Highway speeds and hurricanes bearing down like a freight train. I've been calling out to you through the crash of the pouring rain. But you wait around needlessly for the way you think things should be. 'Cause those dark horses run, but they can't catch me. Tall tales they fall, so many pieces on the floor you can't count them all. One day you'll say broken pieces don't fit together quite so easily. Broken pieces don't fit together quite so easily. Thank you very much. show like her.
I did say play louder. Play louder. What do you think? Will you do one more for us? Can I get one more here?
Yes.
Will you
Yes,
guys
please.
do one more? Can't do that without an encore. Oh, is it even the chickens?
That's cool. Yeah, okay. I can do that. That's pretty cool.
Featuring pants.
Yeah, the green room back there was pretty wild. Hanging out with that crowd before the show. Pretty sick. So, yeah, I used to live out in Nova Scotia, and one of the ways I kind of like kept my eye on this venue and this community was a friend of mine, Dylan, who runs this sort of promotion group out there called Big Turnips. And he's putting together a little Big Turnips compilation of Nova Scotian artists, or like people that he works with a lot. And I was fortunate enough to be asked to be on this compilation, which is great. And I was trying to think about what I was going to put on to the record, because like I don't really live in Nova Scotia anymore. I'm from Toronto, and people don't want like a gross, cynical inner city song on this pretty bucolic Nova Scotian record. So I thought I would cover a friend of mine for the record, named Chris Robinson. He's a great songwriter. He lives in Canning, Nova Scotia, and he like never plays. He maybe plays once a year, but he's a great songwriter. And so I thought I would cover it for this compilation. And so this is it. This is a song he wrote called "Sweet Old Gal of Mine." And it starts with a rooster, actually. So. Well, have you seen that sweet old gal of mine? She's better than tobacco, she's better than wine. She's better than wine and tobacco too. Ain't nothing that sweet old girl can't do. Well, her skin is soft, but she's hard as steel. She's blood and sass from her head to her heels. She got a mean left hook and a razor tongue. She can clean a punch jug rim to bottom. And have you seen that sweet old gal of mine? She's better than tobacco, she's better than wine. She's better than wine and tobacco too. Ain't nothing that sweet old gal can't do. She don't mind living off the grid. She can shuck a clam and she can jig a squid. And if you make her mad, well, you best take cover. She'll rain down like holy thunder. And have you seen that sweet old gal of mine? She's better than tobacco,
radar for us. We have an Instagram, GrassRoots Music Ranch. We have a Facebook, and we have a TikTok now that our 16-year-old friend Freddie has been manning. She's been doing a great job. So you can find out about our events on there, but honestly the best way is just get on our email list, really, for sure. Because our next show, we should talk about next shows. Next show is October 10th. We're having Frisco Lee and Eric something or other. That's not his actual name. They're going to be here. It's going to be a great show. It's 2 acts. I think they're 2 bands.
Where do you like it?
That's pretty cool.
Featuring pants.
Yeah, the green room back there was pretty wild. Hanging out with that crowd before the show. Pretty sick.